Hello, families. My name is Cecily, and I am here for maybe the next 15-ish minutes to share some best practices for ways that you can support your child in Spanish at home so that they can really learn it in a meaningful way. So the perspective of this video is from an English dominant household that is looking to try to help out a kid who is learning Spanish as a second or third or fourth language. To do this, you will see that in the video description are tons of links to what we have found to be some of the great stories and songs and apps that have really helped cement Spanish in our children's brains. And I'm going to base what we look at today on the work of one of my favorite linguists, Stephen Krashen. And Stephen Krashen has spent his whole professional life looking at how the human brain learns languages. And surprise, the most effective way is the way we learn our first language. That it's natural, it's meaningful, it's important, and that the whole point is to communicate, to actually use it. So the quote that I find super useful to know as we are supporting our children is, "The best methods are those that supply comprehensible input in low anxiety situations containing messages that students really want to hear." So as we look over these next few minutes at some of the things we can do, this is the basic idea. And so we're going to start with this idea of comprehensible input, which is basically just words, stories, phrases, stories, songs, input that our kids can comprehend, right? It's familiar enough, they can understand enough that they actually register it and remember it. So in our world at home, that really comes down to songs and stories, input that our kids can figure out and remember. And the beauty with great songs and stories is that we love to repeat them and do them again and again and again and again. Thus, it is important to find great songs and stories that you don't mind listening to again and again and again and again. So, when you look in the description of the video, you'll see lots and lots and lots of the ones that were favorites in our household. I wanted to highlight none other than the delightful Peppa Pig. Who knew? Peppa Pig, La Cerdita, Lisa, has a whole world entirely in Spanish. So the library has this fantastic book, Cuentos de Peppa en 5 minutos, which is great for you to make the effort and read with your kids, and eventually for them to read to you and retell you in their own words what happened in 5 minutos. But also, Peppa's on TV, and you will see in those links, there is a world of Peppa on YouTube en español, along with her friend Daniel Tigre y también Jorge el Curioso. It's fantastic. So there is no shortage of great comprehensible input that your kids can really enjoy watching every day in Spanish as they say, "Oh wait, yeah, I know those characters. I know what's happening here. I can understand it." So stories are fantastic. I noted as I was writing them all down, these were all originally written in English and then translated into Spanish. And what's nice is as kids get older, right, you can find more and more authentic texts that were actually written in Spanish. One example of an English to Spanish translation that I want to highlight, La Casa del Árbol changed our lives. You may already know the magic treehouse. This was how our family stumbled into this flow and it changed our lives. The Los Angeles Public Library has all 54 Magic Treehouse books in audiobook format. So driving in the weekends, driving to school, we would listen to the book and get to know the characters, Jack and Annie, and they would face a problem. And they became familiar with the stories that way. And then they could read it as they were learning to read. Y mira, look at this, how fantastic. La Casa del Árbol. So after they heard it in the audiobook and learned to read the book in English, then they could read El Caballero del Alba. Each one of these 54 books is then also available in Spanish. Comprehensible input, fantastic. I just want to throw in one extra plug. There are also fact trackers where the author created a non-fiction companion informational piece telling kids all of the background research she did to make the historical fiction come alive. Fantastic. Love the Magic Treehouse, La Casa del Árbol. Okay, also songs. And songs, you can find so many fabulous, authentic, written in Spanish albums. This one here, Julieta Venegas, Limón y Sal, changed our lives. We still listen to it every day, and we sing it every day. It never gets racier than a kiss, un beso. So once you are okay with your child listening to and singing about unrequited love, Julieta Venegas, Limón y Sal. Again, in the description, so many amazing, fantastic albums from Carlos Vives to Las Cafeteras to La Santa Cecilia. So exciting. And it's so great to just listen to it every day. Comprehensible input. Related to comprehensible input, so important in my opinion, is this concept of the affective filter. And you know how Stephen Krashen was talking about low anxiety situations? That's what the affective filter is. It is when we feel anxious, when we feel self-conscious, if we're feeling overwhelmed. He talks about this concept, right? This metaphor of a filter. Here's my coffee filter to illustrate that concept. A filter that goes up when we are feeling anxious that prevents the comprehensible input from actually getting through and sticking and getting processed, right? Because we're just sitting there thinking, I don't get this and it's too overwhelming and ugh. Why are we talking about the affective filter? Because I have found it helps so much to talk with your kids about it and the emotions surrounding it. And so also in that description is 6 of the messages and phrases that I have found so useful in the ongoing conversations about persevering and being able to enjoy the process and make mistakes. That's what we start with. It's great to make mistakes. Go mistakes. It shows that you're making effort. I am so proud of you when you go for it and you make a mistake. Related to that, take risks, because risks is how we learn. So it's totally great. You're sitting there, you're on the rug, make a mistake, take risks, go for it. So important also, it's normal to feel overwhelmed sometimes, especially when everything is in a language that might be really, 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 really new to you. Totally normal to feel overwhelmed. When that happens, we have some tools because it's so human to get overwhelmed, right? And feel your affective filter start to go up. The way we bring that down, breathing, right? Breathing is this amazing tool. And you can just say for in through the nose, for out through the mouth. And actually practice doing that together. It never fails to make me feel better. Usually I need 3 rounds. 3 rounds of breathing in and out. and the brain can calm down and we feel ready again. Last messages that I think help to lower the affective filter. Have fun. Be a detective, right? Just have fun looking for clues to figure out what it is that the teacher is saying, or the singer is singing, or the characters are saying in the book. Have fun with that, like look for a visual clue. El pato dice, wah, 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 wah. Be a detective. And just have fun with it, because we're here for fun. Kind of lighten it up, lower the affective filter. Finally, we can do hard things. I remember the first time I heard that, and I was like, yeah, we can do hard things. And I find that can be a really helpful reminder. We can do it. Lowering the affective filter with ongoing conversations. Last point, 3 ways to support the team, right? Because to help language learning happen and be meaningful, we got to have all 3 team players in place, right? The teacher at school, an adult in the household, and the student, all working together. So, these are my 3 thoughts on that. Show effort yourself. Show courage yourself. It's, I will come in and I will teach a class in Spanish. Do I make mistakes? Yes, I do, right? But part of it is that I hope that I am modeling courage and also effort to say, no, this is really meaningful to me. And if you want to learn it, you got to use it. On the effort tip, 2 things. Oh, Duolingo. There you are, Duolingo. Duolingo is amazing. If you do not yet have this app, your kids can have accounts, you can have accounts. It's free. It's in Spanish. It's based in stories and communication. Duolingo. Fantastic. Sign up for it. It's 5 to 10 minutes of Spanish a day. Model that effort, including, at school, in meetings, in informational times, everything's usually translated into Spanish. So our kids notice what we do. Instead of maybe checking out or looking at your phone, challenge yourself. Say, how many cognates can I find in this Spanish section? Words that sound almost the same in English and Spanish, like, comité, it's committee. Show that effort. Show that you value Spanish. Which leads to this next point. Talk about your why. I remember when one of my children was in 1st grade, and it was like after school, but before snack, this child said, Mom, I didn't even ask to learn in Spanish every day. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Obviously, we have not had this conversation in a meaningful way about the why. Why are you learning Spanish? Why is Spanish so valuable to me? And why do I hope that Spanish is going to be so valuable to you? So I encourage you, have that conversation all the time, right? Everybody's different with their whys. Talk with other families. What's your why? Why did you want to do this? For me, we live in a city, de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles. And language is this whole different way of seeing and understanding the world. And so for me, it was important that my kids have that experience of feeling uncomfortable, of not understanding everything, and learning a whole different way of seeing the world. Right? I mean, there are so many whys. So why? Talk about the why. And finally, just talk at home, I find, about supporting the teacher. You are on the teacher's team. The teacher is on your team. So if your teacher asks you to go for it, try speaking, try saying it in Spanish, help them out, right? Because they're a part of your team and you're a part of their team. Team. And that we're all working on it together. We end, yet again, if I can find it, Oh no. Oh yes. With words of Stephen Krashen. The best methods are those that supply comprehensible input in low anxiety situations containing messages that students really want to hear. Thank you for embarking on your dual language experience. I hope that the resources in the video description are useful, and have